What's up, guys? It's been a while, but welcome back to Danny Plays. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, and I've actually got 3 videos planned, and as for the new skin, don't worry about it. My skin is just kind of missing right now, like, it disappeared again. I'm not in the mood to remake it right now, so I just picked one of my random ones. So, don't worry about it. As you saw in the title, today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make, well, a village. And I don't mean this kind of village, because this village, I mean, they're great and all, but they suck. Look at it. Ugly. Sorry, Mojang. There's another one over there. But we're going to be trying to do our own village. And I mean like a medieval town. It doesn't even have to be medieval. Uh, Now, this will not be like a full breakdown, because I'm just going to really give you guys the steps to do it. Because, gonna be completely honest with you, the video would be hours long. Or maybe just an hour long if I did the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be building a village today, and I'm going to be showing you how. So, the first step before we start anything, there's actually quite a few steps before we place anything. First, figure out where you're building. I wanted to find a spruce forest and just do kind of a medieval vibe, but I couldn't find a spruce forest, and there were a lot of deserts. So I think a desert works, and this area is pretty flat. So this area worked good. It works. So we're going to be doing a desert village. Now, that takes us into step 2. Now that we know where we are, where we're going to be, we want to find a block palette. We want to find the basically we want to, ooh, that might not actually, wait. No, that'll work. That'll work. I just need to setting up a little block palette real quick. What else? There's one more. What was I thinking? Ah, yes, yes. Got it. Bop. Where does this one go? You've got to be kidding me. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so that's probably as dark as it's gonna get. Now, realistically, you do want to try and, if you want this area to kind of blend in, you do want to try and use blocks that it seems like they would have available to them, because you want it to feel, I don't know, what's the right word for it? I don't know, but we're gonna take green terracotta because that's kind of cactusy, and you want a bit of color. So I think that green is going to be a nice contrast. And let's also put some of this so that we have more than one. So great, we've got our block palette. That's step 2 down. Now we can actually start placing stuff. And yeah, we're going to start with wool. You don't have to start with wool, but it's easier for me. So I want to visualize where this village is kind of gonna be. So I think right here is a good entrance. I'm gonna be using yellow to mark the path, because the first step you want to do is you want to mark out the paths. You want to mark out the paths, and you want it to be very clear where everything is. So this is going to be the primary path, and where exactly is this leading? Well, that's the thing. I may actually build up a little bit back here, because the next thing, we're doing the layout phase right now. The first step is the layout, which is the path and where everything else is. So, like, if this is going to be the entrance to the village, we're going to want kind of just maybe like a house here, house a little further back. Let's see. Okay, so we've got, that's actually a little close to the path. And we want to experiment a bit, so like, we're gonna do this as a diagonal house. I think this needs to go. There we go. So we've got like, but where are we going with this? Why is this? Well, the thing is, we want the eye to be tracked down through the village. So realistically, we actually want it to start at a lower elevation and get higher, but this also works. So what we're trying to do right now is we want them to lead the eyes, like I said, and that's actually the thing I'm going to talk about right now is actually going to be in a separate video entirely. So here at the end, we want to have some big eye catcher, which in this case, because I'm going to kind of do it a medieval vibe, which is something I meant to mention in the last step, when you're picking your block palette and your biome, try and think of a theme. You need to know your theme for your block palette, and for me, that's going to be medieval. So we're going to have a castle right here to really draw your eyes in. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole layout because, like I said, this video would be way too long if I showed you everything, but I am going to give you the basic gist of it. So first, we're going to have these kind of small houses, and first I also want to finish this path. So we want this path to kind of wrap its way down here, and that's where the big eye catcher is going to be. Now, roughly halfway, because we really want their vision to be pulled up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make those houses short and small, and we're going to make them kind of like the poor area of the village. And then we're going to have like a wall, which is going to have like the better defended, the more, we're going to have the rich area up here. So this is going to be kind of like the slums. This area is going to be the rich area, and then we're going to have the castle at the very back of the rich area. So, I'm going to quickly do a time lapse of me doing the layout, and I'll be right back. One sec. Okay guys, I finished the second step, which is the layout. I'm gonna admit something. I like the layout of the poor area a lot more than I like the layout of the rich area so far. But you know what? That's fine. And something I've thought about is that this color palette is going to more so apply here than it is here, because I'm going to try and mix up these areas to make this have more like expensive resources, I guess. So like stone, maybe I'll throw in more terracotta in there, stuff like that. But we'll think about that when it comes to it. So now that you've finished your layout step, which, quick summary, layout is pathing and deciding where everything's going to go. This is where the castle is going to go, but the castle isn't going to be a separate video because it's just easier that way, and otherwise this video would be way too long. So the next step, once you have it all laid out, there's two ways you can do this. There's either my way, where you just dive straight in once you have the layout, or you can do the framework of the buildings. The framework takes a lot longer, and honestly, I mean, for some people it works, but for me it just doesn't. So we're gonna do it my way, and once we have this, we actually get to the building stage of things. And again, I'm not gonna show you me building all the buildings, because that would just be a very long time, but we'll get to that when it comes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make these towers, and you know, these towers are quite smallish, so we're going to raise this up a bit, and I'm going to need slabs. Bam. We're going to go whop, whop. Well, shoot, that didn't work. That works. Okay, so now that we've got this, we're going to frame it with this, and because this area is a bit more expensive, we're going to focus more on this instead of the cracked stone. And the poor area will use wool, this area will use terracotta. But basically what I'm going to do with this tower is we're going to go up. I don't really know how else to say that, but we're going to go up and in. So it's going to stay mostly square shape, but it's going to go inward a little bit as it does. And we're going to do building and detailing as two separate stages. So, yeah. Now, there's a bit of experimenting I want to do. Yeah, that looks better for the corners. We're going to do the corners as these logs, and I'm probably not going to do logs on the poorer area because I want that to look more like they just built it from the sand around them. And I might take some inspiration from Tatooine with the vapor farm, moisture farms, because the Tatooine moisture farms kind of how I'm imagining that area looking. So let's see, how far did we go up with this one? We went up 3.5. How far have we gone? 5. I think since we did 3.5, let's double that. Actually, this might be the perfect height. Now I need to cap it with some cut sandstone like so. Okay, so now we're gonna rise this last bit, and this last bit's gonna go up 9 probably. Let's see how that looks. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's the perfect height, except for we're going to do the bastion on top. So basically, we're going to also replicate this to the other side. I'm not going to finish this building right now. I'll finish it in a time lapse. But I just wanted to get kind of the idea behind the richer area is going to have foundations, it's going to have pillars. I just want to get the distinction between the areas done. So now, let's do one of these buildings. Let's start with this one. I feel like this little diagonal one is perfect. So we want to take this, these. Yeah, these are blocks we're going to try and work with. So we're going to start by building it up kind of like this. And we're going to have it, we want half slabs. We're going to have it kind of be all piled up. And let's see, where do we want the door to be? Let's put the door on the side. The door will be here. So we want, now obviously we do want some smooth because it'll look a bit weird if it's all just cracked. So we're gonna throw in some smooth in there, like so. And this is already looking pretty much like what I want it to, because I really want this to just look thrown together. And I'm getting that vibe right now, so that's definitely a good thing. And then for the roof, I guess let's go in a bit. I was gonna do kind of a sloped-ish roof, like one that sloped in, but maybe just let's just throw in some of this all around. Make it really, yeah, that's what we want. We want it to just look really hobbled together. We're gonna do, yes, that is exactly how we want this. Now you see the difference? The big grand area versus this. Now the last thing we're gonna do before we move on to the next thing is we're going to do part of the path, just so that you guys can see what I have in mind for the path. Did not mean to punch that rabbit. Now, I was gonna see how that looked, but it just didn't. Now I did mean to hit it that time. So we're gonna, it is kind of hard to distinguish, so I'm gonna throw in some other block to break that up, but we're primarily What if I did it just half a block lower? Does that fix? I mean, that makes it... We're gonna try it this way. Except for it still has to be in the ground for this bit. Okay, so we're gonna have the door be right here, so the path's gonna be like so. Yeah, we really need to think of another block to throw in here to mix it up. But I don't know. How would... Feel like they wouldn't be poor if they just had iron in their street, though. We use iron in the street. Maybe having it not be so visible is a good thing for the poor street. I really don't know. But I'll try and figure out some diversity for it in a little bit. But here's basically the premise. We're going to have this version where it's just kind of like, well, it's just been worn down by all the people walking over it, but it's not really paved or anything. It's nothing special. Or put a few lampposts, but nothing fancy. Over here, however, we want the road to look a bit different. We want it to look more professional, so let's see, where... Does it have to be a 2-block road? No, 3-block works. So we want to put that in the ground. But we're going to have it raised. No, we want it to be lowered. But we will probably maybe throw in... I'll figure it out, but this path needs to be considerably better looking. Like, I don't know. What do the sand villages actually use as paths? I want to see that. Okay, they just do what I'm doing right now. But I feel like I can do better. I definitely can do better. But that's not a problem for right now. I'll figure that out when I come to it. The problem for right now is building up the rest of this village area. So I'll be right back after a time lapse and we can walk through this. I don't act. The time lapse clearly isn't done. Clearly, everything here isn't finished. But I realized with how long this video is, and already is, and me not really having a plan for the rich area yet and what the buildings are gonna look like, there's no way I can fit the time lapse into this video. So this video, I'm gonna have to split it into 2 parts. Actually 3, because the castle is its own thing. So, yeah. I actually have to split this into a 3-part video. The first 2 parts actually focusing on the village itself, and the third part will focus on the castle. Yeah, sorry I didn't get everything finished, but hey, I'm started. You gotta start somewhere, right? So in the next video, we're gonna come back in. The shape of the buildings will be done. They won't be detailed yet, but the shapes of the building will be done. We'll do the detailing in that video. Once detailing is done in the third video, we will do the castle. And the castle is going to be a more step-by-step thing, whereas this one is more of a informational instruction guide. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.